Remember, this entire manga and every manga on this channel is hand-drawn by myself, and now you too can learn exactly how to make your own viral Dragon Ball mangas at www.makemanga.com, where you can learn directly from me. My mangas have got me on TV, on newspapers, and even earned me over $60,000 a month on Patreon alone. And now, you can click the link in the description and pinned comment of this video and do it yourself. You only need to see the website to see just how many thousands of you are taking this opportunity right now. And don't forget also, the next video to this Ultra Vegito series has already been made and is live now on my Patreon right now for over 4,500 of you incredible fans to watch after this. Again, links are in the pinned comment and description. Enjoy. So our story continues with the newly transformed Black Demon Frieza, fretting for his now untimely short life as Goku's divine Dragon Smite unleashes straight down onto the Emperor, swallowing his earlier gigantic Death Ball in the process along with it. No! 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 And as the bright white dragon's gaping mouth would come closer and closer to Frieza's face, his body would be lost in its insane light, and a wide-eyed Frieza would only be able to shout out what appears like a classic scene from the past. But as his life would begin to disappear, while for many, their lives would flash before their eyes, for Frieza, only one fateful memory comes to mind. As he thinks, This monkey, he came from nowhere, just like last time. And just like that time, I will lose everything because of him. Goku! As now, the end of his life would be reached, as Goku's Silver Dragon would begin closing its mouth to erase the demon forever, sending him down to what we assume is the demon realm. But almost as if in a fever dream, just as Frieza would reach his end, a sudden distortion in energy would explode in front of him, as the dragon would roar in almost pain. And in the aftermath, only a huge plume of smoke would remain, with no sign of the dragon anymore. And even Goku, looking on from below with his seraphim eyes, would have a sense of confusion internally, though his stoic face would not give it away, as he would think, what now? Did I not do it right? In training it worked perfectly every time. Damn it. But as the clouds of smoke would begin to thin, a mysterious silhouette would begin to appear that would denote that maybe it wasn't Goku's lack of ability after all. It can't be! As when Frieza would begin to see briefly who or what has just somehow appeared in place of the dragon, his sweating face would become even more shocked and terrified. Something even more fearsome than death has appeared, it would seem. What? As standing there with his arms swooped to the side as if he had clawed the dragon away would be Ultra Vegito, in his final Ultra form, not seen for some time now, with signature black boo-like eyes activated. His whole body emanating warm smoke as the remnants of Goku's divine smite are utterly annihilated by the God Killer in just this form, as he lets out under his breath, impressive. but nothing like Z. Vegito! And just standing there, now like a helpless child, saved by an adult, Frieza would fail to move. Frozen in his perplexed state, mumbling, I'm alive! Given mercy again by a damn Saiyan! But while Frieza would be contemplating what is even going on, a smiling Vegito, looking down at his former fusion guest, would just say, Right, well I think that's just about enough, don't you think, Kakarot? That last move of yours, strong, but don't you think you got a little carried away? Before folding his arms and asking frankly, It seems unlike you to go overboard, especially on your old buddy Frieza. Tell me, did you really plan on killing him, despite my plans of training him? But looking up with his bright Saiyan eyes and smile of his own, Goku would just respond, For someone who's part me, you sure are doubting me, Vegito. I was in complete control. I know how important Frieza is for our plan, and I was just about to end my attack before I noticed something interfering. And back to an almost pleased smirk, Vegito would just respond, I thought so. Good to know you aren't as brain dead as Vegeta makes you out to be, Kakarot. Before quickly leaving the shocked Frieza to stew in his confusion, the God Killer would then vanish from his eyeline instantly, arriving quickly to meet an unflinching Kakarot face to face on the battlefield below, as if ready to confront him. Why you? While an increasingly befuddled and also rising in frustration Frieza would just look down and begin thinking, He saved me! Both of them. Even the other monkey was planning on sparing me. All this just to train me. Yet no matter what I do, I can't even beat this Saiyan, let alone Vegito. Why? Just why are they keeping me? This is beginning to make no sense. Because, Frost Demon, they are using you. They are fattening you up to eventually take your powers too. As suddenly, the truth would be revealed by a strange voice behind Frieza. Huh? Wait, you are? And as the Emperor would turn around to see just who it was that was talking, not yet reacting to the info, who would be standing there would be nothing short of more shocking than anybody else Frieza could have predicted. Hello. I don't believe we've been introduced yet. As unbelievably, standing there with his hands behind his back would be Goku Black. It now being revealed that him and likely Yamoshi too were never reintegrated back into Vegito. Left to their own devices to train themselves and get stronger as well. As Black would continue, Why the shocked face, Frieza? You look like you've seen a ghost. From the realm of the Kais, I've heard tales of what kind of petulant mortal you are. Oh! But Frieza, locked in his own state of shock, would be completely taken aback by Black's appearance, confusing him with Goku himself, as he yells, You can't be real! I just saw you down there! What's with the change of clothes? As quickly, Black Demon Frieza would then find himself looking back down to where Vegito and Goku were just to double check, thinking, there they are! Those damn blue eyes too! And as he watches down below in confusion over how two Gokus somehow exist, an embarrassing thought begins to come to mind. As he says, wait, do not tell me! All that power that monkey had was just from a clone? That cannot be! I refuse to believe it! As angrily, Black Demon Frieza would then turn his head fast back to Black and yell, tell me now! Who are you? You cannot be the Saiyan known as Son Goku! And in response, holding his face eccentrically, almost as if in shame, Black would finally reply, you insult me with your comparison, Frieza. I am no damn filthy mortal. I could never be one of your kind. My name is Zamasu, and I am a supreme Kai. One that took hold of this Saiyan's body simply to defeat him and the rest of his abhorrent allies, with his own power no less. But unfortunately, that plan didn't go as expected. And now, I have been taken in like a slave instead. But for you, it is not too late. With my help, you can get rid of all these Saiyans once and for all. Huh? A Kai? This reveal particularly shocking Black Demon Frieza due to his limited interaction with the gods apart from Beerus. As questioning what is even happening, Frieza would ask, what would a Supreme Kai be doing involved in this? Looking like a monkey no less. And why would you help me of all people? Forgive me, but it is hard to believe you when you look like him. Understandable. But Black, now turning his back to Frieza, would just giggle and smirk, turning his head to ominously let out, I'm here because I underestimated the trickery of these Saiyans. I have no opinion on these gods these fools keep spouting off about. After all, I am one too. But one thing that has grown even more vengeful over these years is my distaste and hatred for all of you mortals. Most of all, these Saiyans. As I said, I failed in my mission, and it is too late for me to do anything with my own power now. But for you, you have not yet become one with the God Killer. I have been watching you, and I see what they mean by your potential. It seems there are more than one race of mortals that can surprise even the gods. If you want to survive and not become enslaved like I, if you want to destroy these Saiyans and watch as they squirm, then you can follow me. That is all I will say for now, Frieza. As immediately after saying these words, Frieza would be left alone once again as Black would shoot off into the distance, clearly wanting to continue the conversation in private. Black Demon Frieza, though, at this point, would hardly know what to think, his mouth ajar as he stumbles to say, become one with the God Killer? Survive? Is this what this is all about? Those Saiyans are planning to take my power, After making me train like a dog? As suddenly as the pieces of the puzzle begin to fit, and anger would awash the Emperor, as he grumbles, continuing, "The audacity of these monkeys to really believe they could trick someone like me! Who do they think I am? If that's their plan, then they have another thing coming!" As quickly in response now, Frieza would shoot off himself in pursuit of Black, seeking to find more of the truth and a way to escape Vegito's eventual plans. But watching on with a look of concern and trepidation, and no longer wounded after being healed by Goku, Vegeta would watch as Frieza and Black shoot off, thinking, "Frieza with Black? That can't be a good thing in any other situation. But that lizard must be looking to increase his power level even further. If he's strong in that form, he'll have several more even greater eventually, knowing him. He's looking to surpass Kakarot, just like I should be. I cannot let everyone here leave me behind like some weakling. This is my battle, and my revenge for you, Bulma, Trunks, Bulla." But back on the battlefield below, the God Killer would remain standing before Seraphim Goku, an uncontrollable proud smirk on his face as he says, "Kakarot, it seems you took my advice and then some. Well done. That is quite some accomplishment to achieve those eyes. Even I didn't know that was possible for us. I had assumed it was something Z learned from the priest himself. You're going to have to explain to me how you did it at some point." But Goku, pleased with the praise from the God Killer, would just say back, "Really, Vegito? What difference does it make me telling you now? You know as well as I do, once I'm back fused into you, you'll know everything I do, along with what improvements everyone else has made in here too. But if you really want to know right now, then you're going to have to beat me first." As in typical Goku style, the Saiyan would quickly then get into fighting stance, challenging the God Killer without a hint of hesitation. And Vegito, with an equally enthused look, would just reply like a classic Saiyan, saying, "Little did you know, I was planning on that anyway, Kakarot, so that can be arranged." But just as the two would get ready to engage with one another, a pair of familiar feet would land beside Vegito to stop any more conversation. "Hold it there, clowns!" And standing there with an annoyed look would be Prince Vegeta, looking to his right at the God Killer, saying, "I hope you two know I'm not just going to stand around while you two train and rub your freak-like powers in my face. This isn't over, and I'm going to get stronger myself, but I'm not doing it alone. Give me someone that can push me. Push me beyond Kakarot." "Train with someone, huh? That's unlike you, Vegeta." As Vegito would then turn to the prince and be surprised at his request, before closing his eyes and placing a hand under his chin in deep thought as he mumbles under his breath, "Push you to the limit, huh? Who can I give you? I know just the guy! As suddenly, a burst of thought would come to the God-Killer, tightening his fist as his eyes burst open and his decision is finally made. But exactly who does he have in mind? As suddenly, just like before, Vegito would then spit onto the floor, his pink goo splashing onto the ground until quickly rising up and expanding in real time until... What? Finally, Vegito's choice of training partner would be revealed, and it would be none other than God of Destruction Broly, who immediately would be awoken from his deep slumber, standing bemused as his first sight would be Vegeta, Vegito, and Goku. As now looking down at his palms in disbelief, Broly would comment, "What happened? My body, it's back. I don't know how long it's been, but I really thought I'd be in that thing forever. Mirrors, where are you? Are you free too?" "You're not free yet, Broly." But the legendary destroyer's thoughts would only be allowed to fester for so long, before behind him, Vegeta would address him with his hands on his hips, continuing, "This is temporary. You've been let out for a purpose, just like I have. But we'll both be fused back in a blink of an eye once the time is right. Only to be freed permanently when our job is done." Before, with a smirk on his face, he would add finally, "But for now though, here's your opportunity to stretch your arms. I've been inside Boo before, and know all too well about those cooped up pieces of flesh you're kept in. Make the most of this time outside, and give me a little rematch." And with a big sigh, having gone through more than enough turmoil in his life already, Broly would just close his eyes and say unenthused, "Of course, the way you three have become, there's no way you could have let go of your need for revenge. I give up trying to change your mindset, but I suppose fighting you is better than nothing. All I ask in return is that you keep Chilai and Limo safe. And you give me some chocolates for participating in this. It's been a long while." To which Vegeta would just smile and reply promptly, "Those two are fine. And as for those chocolate bars, deal. Now come!" As quickly, full of eagerness to reach a new level of power, Vegeta would launch into the sky, looking back with a smile as he calls out for his fellow Saiyan. And following the prince as he should, in search of his next sweet treat, Broly 2 would then leave the battlefield chasing Vegeta. And while this interaction would happen, down on the ground watching closely, a smiling and proud God-Killer would let out, "Looks like just the idea of being surpassed by everyone was enough to get Vegeta back to his old ways. Back when we were fighting Kid Buu, accepting Kakarot as being your superior was always the beginning of the end. That does not need to be the case anymore. Not while I'm around, at least. The question is, Will he come with a new power gained from Lucif, or a new power gained from Hakai? But eventually leaving the prince to his own devices, Vegito would turn back to the matter at hand with Kakarot, as the two would then stare off at each other, before the God Killer would then duck his head down in an almost fighting ready stance and ominously say, "You have more of an effect on that brat than you could ever know. I hope you're ready to get passed by him again, Kakarot." To which Goku, with a steadfast countenance, would just emotionlessly say, "Good for him, but I've only begun to scratch the powers I have to show, Vegito." Before, with his palm quickly raised up and pointed towards Vegito, Goku would continue, "Now, if we're really going to battle, better take off that armor before it gets in the way. I've had enough of anything Frieza related by now anyway." As suddenly, despite no visible beam of energy being shot out of Goku's palm, a loud explosion, alarming even Vegito, would come off of the God Killer's shoulder. As when the blast settles, Vegito would look down confusedly at his right shoulder, noting that though smoke would bellow off, he would be completely unarmed. He would be completely unharmed, but just with the rest of his broken armor now evaporated off, as he would think, "What did he hit me with? And why? There's no damage. Was it just to show me how much control of his energy he has? Maybe he wasn't bluffing about sparing Frieza after all. Nice party trick." But ultimately, unfazed by what Goku had just done, Vegito would quickly begin raising his power level as black lightning surrounds him. Continuing, "Thanks for that though. It should ensure I take care of you even faster, Kakarot." As now ready to battle, Vegito would immediately launch at our hero with his eyes fixated. But as he would throw his super speed punch with perfect movement, as his Seraphim eyes see the movement miles off, Goku dodges with a simple bend of his body. Leaving Vegito shocked as Goku already instinctively moves back and raises his arm in the air, his elbow to the sky before slamming down a chop aimed at the back of Vegito's neck, but of course only for it to miss miserably as Vegito would vanish. "Nice movements, kid, but I'm a little too fast for those eyes." As Vegito would suddenly then reappear directly behind Goku, grabbing him in a double arm lock, while a smiling Kakarot looking back would just say, "You're pretty fast alright, Vegito. Not as fast as I thought though." As instantly out of nowhere, from Vegito's backside this time, yet another unseen blast would be shot, as Goku would suddenly be nowhere to be seen anymore either. Oops, I thought I missed a bit of your armor there. My bad. But in the distance, the source of the attack would show itself, being Seraphim Goku in the distance, smirking and goading the God Killer. "That one hurts!" As Vegito, rapidly scratching and caressing his back to soothe his singed injury, would angrily shout back before, "Those eyes have made you cocky, kid!" The God Killer would once more rush straight for Goku. But this time, despite unleashing a devastatingly powerful kick to the temple of Goku's head, with extreme athleticism, Goku would quickly just duck under again as if by instinct. These eyes show me more than just your movements, Vegito. I can see your openings too. As instantly, Goku would then launch his palm straight at the face of the off-balance Vegito. Damn it! Stopping right before his vulnerable face as the God Killer just stands frozen, realizing his loss in that brief skirmish. But once again, it wouldn't seem as if Goku would be going in for the kill, but rather just showing his superiority. That is until he opts to slam Vegito instead with an unseen mid-air roundhouse that slams the God Killer right across his face, causing blood to splatter out. Kakarot! And even Vegito, as he feels such a tremendous strike, is almost left confused as he wonders, this strength, he gained all this alone? Eventually landing on his bottom, before Goku, who just stands tall, watching without gloat or remark. The fused has now become the fusee. And truly blindsided by the progress he is witnessing firsthand, the God Killer would just look up in astonishment, his eyes and mouth wide as he mutters, How? I expected progress, but how have you come this far? This is further than both Frieza or Broly could go. Did you have more potential than them this whole time, Kakarot? But Goku, hearing this, would just raise his fist and stare into it, letting out, No, I don't think it was so much my potential that got me here, but my teachers along the way. As Goku would then begin explaining with some reminiscing, It's been 2 years, Vegito. 2 years since you opened my eyes over what I could do to keep up with Vegeta. But even when you first entered our space back then and fought me and him, I knew all the powers you had absorbed, demon, god and angel alike, were all inside somewhere and accessible to us. Vegeta found a way to access the power of the demons, and I had to think back to my time with Whis to find a way to bring that angel power out in the same way. In the end, I sort of had to create my own mind space, one like yours where me, Vegeta, Black and Yamoshi existed. But in mine, I had all of the angels you had fought all there for me to talk to. The amount of divine energy you've absorbed was enough to replicate them all. And after talking to each one and training with each of them, eventually, one day I ascended to have my first Seraphim eye. From there, the rest was history. I still have a long way to go. But right now, this has taken me to a level I haven't found a challenge for just yet. I see. How interesting. And slowly, as Vegito would come to terms with the explanation, he would rise, keeping his eyes closed, with one hand on his hip responding, So the key all along was speaking to those angels, huh? Somehow, I don't think they would speak to me with the same eagerness as they would with you, after everything I've done. Before, as a smirk builds on his face, he would continue, How typical of you, though, to find such a goody two-shoes way to gain your strength. Talking to my slain victims. And not to discredit you, but you have achieved something damn impressive. But I'm afraid I'm still not convinced it's any better than the power of this so-called Lucif within me. But I guess there's only one way to find out. As suddenly, Vegito would then open his eyes, revealing his signature purple demon eyes, as his purple scar would also then begin to grow across his face as he does so. As he unleashes a demonic roar, his whole body would then become surrounded in an all-powerful dark aura, as two horns burst from his head, a demonic tail sprouts from his back, and black and white fur grows across both his back and front, with only now his clawed pale hands left before his transformation would be complete. True Demon Vegito has now finally re-entered the fight, his tremendous energy flowing all over as black lightning dances all over his stagnant buff stature, with Vegito just whispering out, "It is not you who desires a challenge, Kakarot. It is I!" As on finishing those words, Vegito's uncontrollable aura would continue to flux even more, creating a wave of pressure, smoke and wind that pushes all across the battlefield towards Goku. Whoa! And sure enough, as Goku holds his arm to cover himself from the blowback, as his hair swings to and fro, with mild surprise in his eyes, he would comment, "It's been a long time since you went into that form. I've always known when you activated it to fight the 5 or Z, but seeing it in person, it really is on a whole other level to Vegeta's." Before, in a quick change of tone, Goku would duck with a devious smile and continue, "But that's exactly what I was hoping for. If I'm gonna be giving over this power, then I'm gonna make you earn it first, Vegito!" As instantaneously, like two rabid dogs let off their leash, Seraphim Goku and true Demon Vegito would then rush straight at each other. Two black-haired forms, but using powers and techniques that couldn't be any more different from one another. With Goku's first attack being a kick that is blocked this time by Vegito's forearm, but both grimacing as the gigantic impact is made. While the second has the two Saiyans trading a punch on each other, both yet again not showing a hint of who is in control. Topo! That is, of course, until Vegito begins to show some of his unique abilities that neither demon nor angel could replicate. As suddenly, from either side of Goku, apparitions of both Topo and Guts would slam the Saiyan from either side, as Vegito would shout, "Doesn't seem those eyes are that good to miss these big boys!" Before the God Killer would devilishly then laugh, pulling his arm to the side until... pulling it up straight, as if activating something, yelling, "Die for your cockiness, brat!" Huh? As even Goku, wedged between the two godly apparitions, would notice something was up. As instantly, in almost a detonation, Guts and Topo would convene into a wave of destructive energy that envelops Goku in a cylinder of damage, trapping his entire body in the process. Eventually coming to a halt, leaving only a silent silhouette within its mists. As when the smoke would clear, Seraphim Goku would be seen still alive, but now thoroughly worse for wear, as he appears covered in damage and ash, and his clothing now completely incinerated. As Goku, staring seriously forward, would just comment, "That was a good one, Vegito. It reminded me of one of Piccolo's techniques, but you should know, I have tricks of my own." As suddenly from behind Vegito, Goku would appear instantaneously with his hands together before yelling, "Kame! Kame! Eventually firing off a point-blank range, devastating Kamehameha wave straight at the unsuspecting God Killer. Putting his complete all into it as Goku yells to the heavens. But for some reason, despite the light and intense power literally right in his face, Vegito would just launch his left arm straight towards it while saying, "That's a little too close, kid. If you're taking me down, I'm taking you with me!" Unbelievably, Vegito would reach his hand down, then straight into the apex and center of Goku's kiwi. Leaving Goku shocked as he begins to realize what the result of that action will be. As instantly, instead of blasting Vegito off, Goku's Kamehameha wave would explode violently on the spot, covering both warriors in the gigantic impact. And when the ravenous smoke would begin to fade away, what a maniac! Goku would then be seen, now far more damaged than ever before, his body trembling from the explosion as he mumbled with one eye open, "At least it looks like he took more damage than I did." As Vegito would then be seen too, himself completely missing now the arm that he placed into the center, eviscerated from the sheer power. As laughing, he would let out, "I didn't expect you to have that kind of firepower. Not many can completely erase one of my arms, but it just goes to show I shouldn't be playing any more games with you, Son Goku!" As suddenly, Vegito's schizophrenic personality would completely change, as with rage in his face, his eyes would turn blood red, as he finally now respects Seraphim Goku enough to call him by his chosen name. The real battle begins now. But that was it for today's video, guys, and if you made it this far, leave me a hashtag Son Goku in the comments down below and let me know just how well Seraphim Goku will deal with Ultra Vegito's full power. Or just find out what happens right now on my Patreon, where you can see the full next video, fully voice acted, soundtracked, and edited for you to enjoy with over 4,500 plus other fans, as well as getting access to 250 plus other fan mangas too. It's the deal of the century.